These days it's just a given that our kids go to college. But in times past in American history, before World War II and in years before that, a lower percentage of Americans went to college. Others got vocational training, apprenticed, did different kinds of things like that. So let's not just assume that the first thing out of high school, you go to college. Maybe the better thing is to apprentice somewhere, gain a trade or a skill. Maybe to go to Bible school and get deepened in God. In Israel, kids get out of high school, then they serve in the military, men 3 years, ladies 2 years, and then after that, many of them will go to college. So they're going into college a little bit older. So let's not just assume automatically it's the thing to do. Parents, kids should prayerfully look at this. Now here's the second thing. What kind of college should you go to? Should you go to a school nearby so you can stay in the family environment and the local congregational environment you're a part of? Should you go to another school somewhere else? If so, should it be a secular school or a Christian school? Now, 2 Corinthians 6, Paul's dealing with a totally different issue. Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, for what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness, or what fellowship has light with darkness? Obviously, it's not saying you can't do business with people of the world, or you can't shop in a store owned by worldly people, or study with a teacher who's not a believer. It's obviously not saying that, but I just want to throw out the principle. I know the text is referring to something else, but I just want to throw out this principle and say, before you send your kid off to a secular college, just understand that in many of these schools, many of the professors will be overtly hostile to the faith and overtly hostile to the moral principles by which you raised your kids. Are you sure that's the school they should go to, especially if it's away from home? And remember also, they're going to be in an environment where the vast majority of the kids there are either getting high or drinking or sleeping around, and maybe for the first time in their lives, they're going to be in a very different environment in terms of the availability of sin. You say, well, they have to grow up sometimes. Well, that's not necessarily the best atmosphere for someone 18, 19 years old. Every kid is different. Every family is different. But lots of Christian kids struggle, and many backslide within their first year of college. So, number one, be sure that college is the right next step. Maybe delay it, or maybe it's not the right next step for others. I know amazing people that are college grads and amazing people who are not college grads. Major business people who are not college grads and others who are. So not everyone needs to go. Process it first and then ask the question, what kind of school environment should my kid be in? Don't just bow down to the idolatry of secular academics and say, well, got to be the best Ivy League school, this or that. Don't just think that way automatically. Get God's mind. There are plenty of fine Christian schools, college and graduate as well, and those could provide a much better opportunity.